Well, hello. Welcome to Wellness by Design today. I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer, your host. And today we are talking miracles. And I'm so delighted to have a mentor of mine, Marci Shimoff. Marci, welcome to Wellness by Design.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here with you. I love what it's all about. I love your podcast. I love your energy, and I'm really thrilled.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. I know people probably know about you already, but I'm going to tell them a little bit about you. You are a New York Times best-selling author, Happy for No Reason, and several of the Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul books. And I first saw you as a teacher on that worldwide phenomenon, The Secret. I was like, who is this Marcy Shimoff lady who's talking all these great things? And then also, you're the creator of this global program, Year of Miracles. 500,000 people have been through it, including me. And I just love this program. I love everything that you do. And in that program, of course, you're with Dr. Sue Morter and Lisa Gar, and you just bring on these fabulous guests and fabulous coaches. It's just a beautiful program, and I feel really honored to be part of it. So thank you for that great work in the world.
But we love you being part of it. The more people devoted to living a miraculous life, the better.
Yes. Yes. Let's hear it for miracles. So you started off with an MBA, Marcy, and now look at you. Like we think of MBA people like in business suits and sitting around the boardroom. That wasn't your path. How did you get into this path that you're now on?
Yeah, I am actually the least likely person in the world to be speaking about living a miraculous life or, to be speaking about happiness as I do in my work on Happy for No Reason. I was born depressed. I believe that I came out of the womb with existential angst. I call it. I had a great family and great circumstances, but I just had this dark cloud around me. And so my solution to depression when I was a young kid was something called sugar. I became a sugar addict. And, that only helps very temporarily. And ultimately, it made things worse. And I was depressed through my teen years. I was about 35 pounds overweight. And so when I was in my 20s, I decided that I was going to figure out how to be happy.
Mm,
And I did what I think, Jane, a lot of people do. I set goals for myself and I figured once I get these goals, then I'll be happy.
mm.
And I set 5 goals and I'll share them with everybody because I think that people can relate to these. I imagine you can probably relate to some of these. I wanted to have a successful career helping people. I wanted to have a fabulous husband or life partner, wonderful friends, a comfortable home, and the equivalent of Halle Berry's body. And I worked really, really hard to get all of those things to happen. And I will tell you, I got 4 out of the 5. I don't have Halle Berry's body, but I have a healthy body for which I'm very, very grateful. And so I really worked hard to get them all. And I will tell you that I had a turning point moment. It was in 1998. Everything was humming along on the outside, the outer surface of my life. I had 3 books in the top 5 on the New York Times bestseller list at the same time. And I had just finished giving a speech to 8,000 people. I had autographed 5,432 books. In fact, my client had hired a massage therapist so that I could keep on signing. And on one hand, I felt like an author rock star. But after I signed that last book, I went up to my hotel room, which was the penthouse suite that my client had gotten for me. And I walked over to these huge windows overlooking Lake Michigan. I was in Chicago. And I took in the view and I turned around and I collapsed onto the bed and I burst into tears. And I burst into tears because I realized that I had everything I thought I needed to be happy. And I still had that same emptiness in my heart that I
Mm.
had as a kid. And I could no longer continue to fool myself into thinking that just the next thing was going to bring it to me. So that's when I dove headfirst into the study of happiness. And I started interviewing all the happiness experts and found what I called my happy 100 unconditionally happy people. And I started doing what they were doing, and it worked. And I went from, if you were grading me in happiness, I went from a D, about a D in happiness, almost failing, to an A. And I am a solid A. That doesn't mean that things don't happen, but it means that I have this, I'm still a work in progress and I've got this
We all.
solid basis. And I know that's what I've been teaching for the last 20 years. And now I teach about even a step ahead of a happy life, which is a miraculous life.
Mm, wow. So we hear the story a lot, right? Of people who they get all these material, and not just material, but like success wins, but it's external. And so your happiness now comes from within you, right? So it's not dependent on these external things, which we can never fully control anyway.
Absolutely. In fact, I define happiness. I call it happy for no reason. It doesn't mean you're walking around 24/7 with the grin on your face or your head is in the sand. You're going to have grief and sadness and things, but happy for no reason means that you have an inner backdrop of peace and well-being that doesn't depend on your circumstances. So when life happens, when stuff happens in the world as it always does, or in your own life that isn't the way you thought you'd want it to be, you still have this sense, this state of peace and well-being anyway.
I love that. And I know you teach this, but not, and I didn't know this before. I've had to learn it like you did, that we can create that within ourselves, right?
Absolutely. And not only can we do it, I believe it's actually the purpose of our life. It is why we are here on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately, I think, why we have the challenges that we have. I call them your soul assignments.
Mhm.
So things happen. They happen with your health, as your story, what happened with your life, or they happen with people's relationships, or they happen with their work or their money, where you sort of feel a breakdown. Well, that I believe is the universe's gift to you. It doesn't feel like a gift at the time. Believe me, I get that. I've been there. But it's a gift for you to go, okay, what do I need to go deeper in to find this inner core where life is in the flow, where life is miraculous, where life feels great. And what I found is as soon as we really focus on that inner state, then the outer world shifts to reflect that. I mean, all the things that you wanted in the outer world that you're working on to try to get, when you shift that inner world, the outer stuff just comes.
Mm. And then it's different because you don't need it to be happy or peaceful
Right.
or feel safe because
Right.
you already had that feeling. So,
Yeah, but it is the icing on the cake and it feels good. One of my early spiritual teachers called it living 200% of life, 100% of the inner life first that brings along 100% of the outer life.
beautiful, beautiful. And so how do you have like a quick way for people to feel that happiness? Do you like use breath work? Do you use visioning? Like, is there a quick way that you recommend people like can get in that moment and feel happy?
Yeah. I found that there are 21 main happiness habits that anyone can practice to be happier, to have that inner state of peace and well-being. They fell into seven main categories. And it depends where you're the weakest, where you want to start. So
Mhm.
I'm going to just right now, very quickly, go through these seven main categories and
Okay.
invite everyone to identify where are you the weakest, because that's where you want to start off. That's your Achilles heel. So Jane, you're going to be my guinea pig. And
Sure.
at the end of this, I'm going to ask you, where are you the weakest?
Okay.
So I call it building your inner home for happiness. A home has seven main components to it. It's got a foundation, four corner pillars, a roof, and a garden. So this is how this relates to those seven areas of happiness. The foundation is taking responsibility for your life and your happiness. In other words, showing up in life as a victor in life, not a victim. Victims blame their outer circumstances, shame, which is blaming yourself, or complain. Blame, shame, or complain. And that's how you're stuck in victim mode. You can never find happiness there. So that's the foundation, is taking responsibility. Then there's the four corner pillars. The first is the pillar of the mind. It has to do with your thoughts. Are your thoughts supporting your happiness? The second is the pillar of the heart. I've never met a happy person who had a closed heart. So are you living with an open heart, kindness, compassion, generosity, forgiveness? Then the third area, the third pillar is the pillar of the body. Do you have the biochemistry of happiness? Do you
Mhm.
have the serotonin and endorphins and dopamine and all the things that the building blocks of actually feeling happy in your cells? And then the fourth pillar is the pillar of the soul, and that's about being connected to spirit. And then the roof of your home is your purpose in life. Are
Mhm.
you living an inspired life? Are you doing what you're here on this planet to do? And then finally, there's the garden, and it's who you're surrounded with. Are you surrounded by lots of roses and gardenias, the people that uplift you, or by some weeds, the people that might drag you down? So those are the 7 areas. Again, the foundation is taking responsibility. Then there's the pillar of the mind, the pillar of the heart, the pillar of the body, the pillar of the soul. The roof is your inspiration in life, and the garden is who are you surrounded by. So I would ask you, Jane, and I'll tell you after you tell me, where do you feel you is your Achilles heel?
Well, it's different now than it was, I would say
Yeah.
before the illness, I was probably victimly not taking responsibility for my life, definitely. But now, no, not like that now. I would say for me, it's probably the garden.
Mm.
Yeah, that I
Surrounding yours, yeah,
surrounding
yeah,
myself with more people and yeah, I find yeah, I live in Newfoundland, so and I live in a very small town, so it's very kind of isolated here. So I have to really work at making relationships happen with like-minded people. So that's probably
yeah.
where I have to work the most.
I hear that a lot, from a lot of people, and it really underscores the importance of community, and, really, we need each other.
Yeah,
And even if you're not physically, near people who are I call it like-hearted people,
I like
people who
that.
are really with the same goals and intentions. And I would say mine through historically has been the body. I think that I had low-grade depression as a kid. It was biochemical. My mother had it. And I've learned some wonderful natural things that I can do to shift the biochemistry so that I feel happier in my body. And so why I ask people to identify where are you the weakest is that when you can see, okay, this is my place where where I tend to come back to if I start to fall, I need to know what are some of the really great things that I can do. And can I just give you one right now, very, because
Us?
I like to get super practical with people. Is
Yeah,
that all right?
yeah, I love it.
So I'm going to give you one from my pillar, the pillar of the body, because it's one that people don't know, and it's so simple. So serotonin is one of those happiness chemicals, and when
Mhm.
we are depressed, we're generally low in serotonin. If you have a lot of sugar addiction, it's very likely that it's serotonin that you're low in. So I found a wonderful, quick, and powerful serotonin booster. I learned this from a Qigong master, and it's called a sunning meditation. And
Hmm.
what you do is you go out in the sun, and I'll tell you what to do. And when we're done, if you don't have sun where you are, you go out in the sun and you close your eyes. You face the sun with eyes closed. Super, super important that you're doing this with your eyes closed. And you allow the rays of the sun to come in through your closed eyelids, and they go in to hit the pineal gland. Pineal gland is in the center of the head, and it stimulates the pineal gland. You can also imagine the sun warming up just all the way down through the central channel of your body as well. If you were to do that a couple of times a day for 2 to 3 minutes, that's all we're talking, 2 to 3 minutes, 2 times a day, for a week, you will reset your serotonin. You
Love
will
that.
naturally reset your serotonin in a more powerful way than most drugs will do. And by the way, if you are taking drugs, please do not go off any medication without your doctor's permission. But it is such a simple thing to do. Now, if you are somewhere where there's not sun on any particular day, you can look at anything in nature that's beautiful. It will also have an effect on you just looking outside at trees, if there's trees outside, or inside at flowers. just having your attention on beauty can also
And
do
that,
a
yeah,
have a similar impact.
that sense of appreciation. That's
Yeah.
beautiful, Mercy, and so simple. I love it. I love it. And it sort of really ties in well with what I talk about a lot with my audience. Mostly people have chronic pain and inflammation. And I
Yes.
talk about, and I know it's what you talk about as well, creating that sense of peace and calm within. And then when we do that, we're creating that environment in which the body can heal. And let's lead into miracles, that miracles can happen. You know, people told me, my doctors told me that rheumatoid arthritis was not reversible. It's not true. So you could call this a miracle. Maybe I like to say normical sometimes now that, miracles are normal. They should happen. But you're into miracles, and we talk about getting in the miracle zone in year of miracles. So let's tell the audience a little bit about that, about getting into the miracle zone.
Yeah, so I so appreciate your story and your perspective that miracles are normal. I absolutely believe they are. They are. Miracles are all around us. It's just a matter of being open and receptive to them. And let me just define what I mean by a miracle, and then I'll talk
Okay.
about the miracle zone and how to get into it. So the dictionary defines a miracle as a surprise and welcome event that can't be explained by science yet, I would say, but that's often attributed to divine grace. So we can't actually create miracles, they're a gift. What we can do is we create the circumstances for miracles to flow into our life. And just as you have done, you created a state, a situation, a flow where the miracle of healing flowed into your life. And I have heard thousands and thousands and thousands of healing stories that are similar to that. And you put yourself in the miracle zone is what you did. How would you say, how would you talk about your own healing in relate to the miracle zone?
Well, it was very circuitous, I would say, in the beginning until I realized it was about how I was feeling,
Yes.
right? Creating that feeling inside and loving myself, right?
Yes.
You can't heal a body if you're not liking your body because of what you're physically experiencing. So there was a lot of that, a lot of loving, self-love, self-care, and mindset, visioning, all of these things, right? To create. I mean, I love vision boards, and that's part of your program as well. And I've been doing that for years, and it's really powerful, right? When we can create that vision that we can look at it and we feel in our body what that feels like. And that, well, through the law of attraction, right? That when we are vibrating that energy out, that is what we get back.
That's absolutely the case. I mean, what happened for me was when I started becoming happier, I- it one morning I woke up and I realized this was more than 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I realized, my God, I'm not just happy. I'm living in this like this miracles place
Mm.
where the amazing people would show up. I wouldn't know what the day would hold, but the right answers would come to me. An email would come with just what I was looking for. Synchronicities were happening left and right. Amazing openings were happening. And I started seeing that the miracle zone, just like there's a specific way we can become happier, there are specific things that people can do to put themselves in the miracle zone. And of course, that's what I've been teaching for the last 10 years and that you've been part of. And it's really amazing to witness the miracles that happen for people in every area, whether it's financial miracles or health miracles or relationship miracles or, and what you just said about self-love, I think is probably the most important piece of it all
Mhm.
because when we don't love ourselves, when we don't feel worthy, and worthiness is a big, big issue for people. And I will say, especially I think for women, we push away the good that is out there for us.
Mhm.
What we need to do is open to the good that's there, feeling worthy of the good.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's so powerful, and you talk a lot about resonance, right? About being in
Yes.
resonance, and so when we expect miracles, or when or when we create that the feelings that are in resonance with what we'd like to have in our life, and are the miracles we want, then they're going to come to us. I'm really fascinated by the fundamental laws of the universe, and you
Yes.
used to hear about them, right? Well, the law of attraction is one of them, and it seemed like that was a lot of focus on money more. And I said,
Yes.
but they're fundamental laws. They apply to everything. And they
Everything.
do apply to relationships, to health, to wealth, to all aspects of life. And I see it in my group as well that I lead, that um, people come to me because they've got chronic pain. But when we start working on feeling good, then they start manifesting miracles. I mean, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's parking spots, sometimes it's relationships that have resolved. And so it's fun living in the miracle zone.
It really is. It's what it is, there's everything, of course, as we know, and we've heard this for years, decades. Everything in the universe is energy. And there's two basic energetic vibrations. There's the energetic vibration of fear that most of the world is vibrating in, that most of us grew up in. I mean, it can be subtle, but it's that feeling that there's not enough. We learned it when we played musical chairs, that you got to grab a chair because there's not enough. And it's a viewpoint, it's a perspective, it's a come from place that most of the world lives in. And then there's the energetic vibration of love,
Mhm.
entirely different field. And what I believe the miracle zone is the shift from the energetic vibration of fear into the energetic vibration of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this may sound kind of funny, but with my engineering background, as I started thinking about this, I started thinking about like electrical current on
Yes.
or off, the zeros and the ones, and it just seemed like, well, there's something about this that's electrical, and it really is because we are vibration and
Yeah.
energy.
Can I share a quick healing story of someone that I've interviewed and that I know that I think is inspiring and
Absolutely.
interesting. So this woman's name is CJ Scarlett, and I interviewed her for Happy for No Reason. And when CJ was, I believe she was in her early 30s, she had lupus and scleroderma, and she had pain and inflammation, autoimmune disease, and it went on and on for years, and it kept getting worse and worse. She was taking medication. Had gained tons of weight. She was having to get around with a walker and sometimes even crawl up and down stairs. And she was miserable and totally depressed. And she'd heard about a Buddhist teacher that was coming to her town, a Buddhist Lama, and she thought, "Oh, I'll go talk to him. He'll have so much compassion. They're known for compassion." And so she goes and she makes it up the pathway with her walker, struggling, and she sits down and she starts telling him her woe is me story. And oh, it's awful. And she was shocked because instead of being being terribly sympathetic, he said, "You are consumed in your own sad story and being a victim, and you are not focusing at all on your light and what you can give to the world and and in helping others." And she thought to herself, "Oh God, this guy just doesn't understand. There's no way I could possibly give to others. I am just in pain." And he gave her an assignment. He said, "I just want you to just practice focusing on making on contributing to others in service and happiness." She left there completely dejected. And later during that week, she found herself at the grocery store, and there was this really awful woman who was standing behind her in line, just bitching and moaning. And all she wanted to do was get as far away as she could from this woman. But she thought, well, I'm going to try that open-hearted thing. And she turned to her and she said, "Oh man, it seems like you're really having a rough day." She said, "I really am. I'm in such a hurry." And the and CJ said, "Well, you know what? I'm not. Why don't you go in front of me in line?" And she said, "Oh no, I couldn't do that." She said, "Oh yeah, please do it." And totally changed the woman's attitude, lit her up, just she felt so happy. And CJ thought, okay, that was good. And she started doing more and more of just heart opening. It was really about opening up her heart
Mhm.
and opening up her heart to others and to herself. And after a year of dedicated practice to opening her heart to love for others and herself, she went back to the doctor and she was completely, he said, you're healed. We don't know what's happened. This is a miracle, a medical miracle.
Yeah.
And that was dozens of years ago. And I've just got in touch with her recently. She's just super happy. She's living in the miracle zone.
I love that story, Marcy. Thanks for sharing it.
Yeah.
That there's science behind it too, right? The work of Lynn McTaggart talking about
Yes.
the science behind altruism and how when you do stuff for other people, it helps you. It's also good. Okay, I know we're getting short on time, so I want to ask you one last question that I
Sure.
ask my guests, and that is this show is called Wellness by Design. It's about intentional living. And so what I'd like to know from you is one baby step someone could take today that's going to initiate that feeling that's going to put them in the miracle zone.
Great. I love that. Well, since I just told the story of CJ Scarlett, I'll share one of the practices that she does and that I do and that many people do. It's called a metta meditation.
Mhm.
And we can do it takes a minute to do. Shall we do it together?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, it's very simple. So I'm going to ask everybody who's listening to do this along with us because just hearing us do it doesn't do a thing for you. So I'm going to keep it to a minute, but here we go. So I'd invite you, if you're able to close your eyes and to put your hand on your heart. And this metta meditation is simply sending yourself 4 wishes, and then you're going to send it to others as well. So just follow my words in sending yourself these wishes. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. And breathe that in. And now we're going to shift our attention to someone we love. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. And breathe that in. Now imagine, if you would, someone sitting in front of you that you might have a harder time sending love to. We're going to practice expanding our love and imagine sending that person this wish. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. And breathe that in. And one last time, we're going to send a wish now out to the entire world. The whole world right now is needing of greater peace and love and blessings. And we each have power within us. So sending your energy to the world, may the world be safe. May the world be happy. May everyone in the world be healthy. May everyone live with ease. And breathe that all into your heart. And when you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Now, that was a very, very short version. You can take longer if you want. I like waking up in the morning and starting the day with this simple metta meditation that helps open the heart to greater compassion and love. How do you feel after having done that right now?
Just like I just felt like just peaceful and filled with love. That's how it
Mm.
feels. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much. What a gift. What a gift.
Mm.
And I know you've got another gift too. You've got a gift of the Miracle Superpower Quiz. So yeah, we're going to share the
Yes.
link for that.
What we found is that everybody has a miracle superpower. We all have multiple miracle superpowers, but we've identified 5 main miracle superpowers. And we invite you to take this quiz so that you can find out what is your specific miracle superpower so you can tap into that and use that more and more in your life.
I love that. I love that. And so is there anything else you want to share with us before we finish up today?
I do. There's one last thing because I do talks all over the world and so many different podcasts and things. And what I've noticed is that people often ask me, isn't this selfish? What you're talking about is just about taking care of yourself, but what about the world? And my answer is that it's the least selfish thing you could possibly do.
Love it.
Because when you take care of yourself, you are doing the most you can possibly do to shift the energy on the planet. And I like to share a Chinese proverb to sum this up, why I'm so passionate about people living happier, healthier, more miraculous lives. And it goes like this. It says, when there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. When there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. When there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. And when there is order in the nation, there will be peace in this world. And my prayer and my wish for every single one of us is that we know that light in our own souls, in our own hearts, in our own lives. And through that, we spread that through this planet.
Oh, Marci, that is beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And yes, let's all of us do our part. That little thing that we can do, starting with ourselves. I don't know who said if it's to be, it starts with me, right? So it
Yes.
starts with me and it has a ripple effect out in the world. Marci, thank you so much for everything that you do. We'll have the links where people can find you and the link to your gift. But I just want to say thank you so much for this beautiful work that you are doing in the world, creating peace and miracles one person at a time and spreading it throughout. I just love and appreciate you so much. And I'm so grateful that you came here today.
Well, thank you, Jane, and I want to thank you for the beautiful work that you do in the world, helping people really live in their miraculous health and wellness, and with this podcast. And I'm delighted to be on the journey of miracles with you.
Ah, thank you so much. And thanks for everyone watching and listening today. And I hope you have and see the miracles that are happening in your life. And please share a comment or leave a review and share this with someone else who needs a miracle in their life. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you again soon.